So saith the wise Alondo.
Hi there, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Danny.
Welcome to Mages and Murderdads. Still probably, the only podcast dedicated to Baldur's Gate and sponsored by Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is episode 7.
Wow.
We've been doing it.
I think if at this point we're gonna go all the way. All the naysayers,
Of the naysayers, we got people.
None of those people have reared their heads in our YouTube comments. Thanks to our wonderful team of moderators on YouTube. Hats off to you, you nice people. But yeah, all the
Police
naysayers.
in the language, we're keeping them out. We delete 80 to 90 comments a day.
Yeah, no,
We don't delete any comments.
we don't. But yeah, all the naysayers said we couldn't do it. Said we couldn't get to 7. Here we are. There's absolutely nothing stopping us. From going all the way.
The only thing to fear is fear itself.
There you go.
I think Elminster said that.
Elminster, or our future dystopian overlord,
Donald Trump.
I was going to go with Jill Stein, but whichever.
I think you mean Dr. Jill Stein.
Dr. Jill Stein.
Have a little bit of respect.
That's right.
Hashtag Gary Johnson. But, so...
Okay, glad we got all that out of the way.
Yeah, we got there.
Apparently we missed it last episode.
We forgot to talk about Gary Johnson last episode. Exactly.
Yeah. So...
no. So, a couple things here at the top. If you've never listened to this before, A, go back and listen to the other episodes. It's kind of important to understand what's happening. B, or number 2, I don't remember the first thing I said. What you see on the screen is not what exactly is happening. This is a gestural visual content that is sometimes, if I do say so myself, as the person who puts it together, pretty funny.
Yeah, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's even somewhat corresponds to what we're talking about, but it isn't a one-to-one here.
No,
so.
I try very hard to get it as close as possible, but sometimes you just don't have enough, there's no I'm not capturing Baldur's Gate B-roll here.
No, God, no.
So you just better hope I've walked around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, other little thing here at the top, thank you to everybody. The people who continue to listen to this, the people who are brand new listeners but want to continue listening, we thanks so much. We got really good comments. We have a really great set of commenters. Had a really good discussion this last time in the last episode in the comments. So yeah, we always want to say thank you here at the top. And if you like this, hit that subscribe button or hit the like button. Do both. That would really help us out. And then follow me on Twitter. Don't follow Danny because he's not on Twitter. And
you can reach me in the comments.
You can reach him in the comments. And you know what? You can kick money to us to support this on the Patreon link as well. How about that?
And I think Kunzelman is starting a new Patreon goal at some number that he's going to come up with. And if he gets to that number, I will make a Twitter account.
Oh my God. No way.
Yeah.
All right.
Make it high.
Okay. This is literally, he's really sprung this on me.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I'll do that. It's $800,000 a month.
Yeah, a month.
It's going to be really hard. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that at the end of Baldur's Gate 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A drive.
We'll do a fun drive. We'll do a fun run.
Oh, fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's already
it's
fun.
in the name.
But yeah, thanks so much. The community's absolutely great. We just want to keep delivering this content.
Keep
awesome.
delivering that content before we are jailed in the dystopian state that has no room for Baldur's Gate content. But you know what? After we've done all this things, after all this preamble, we need to talk about our little topic. We like to have a little topic here at the episode.
Yeah, you want me to toss you one here?
Yeah. Danny prepared our topic today.
Yeah, you can tell which ones I prepare because they're a little wonky. Pro hint: The last one resulted in a 15-minute talk about alignment that no one wanted to listen to, but hey.
I think that was 2 times ago, I think, and that was the most well-listened to episode so far.
Here we go.
I don't know.
So, I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to give you a little prompt here. So, I want you to imagine that you're a player.
Hold on. Is this taking place in the theater of the mind?
In the theater of the mind.
Okay.
Imagine that you're a player of a real Dungeons and Dragons game, and the campaign is exactly what you've experienced thus far in the video game Baldur's Gate. I want you to describe your relationship and kind of maybe your social group's relationship, like the folks you're playing with, the party. I want you to describe your relationship to the Dungeon Master.
Openly hostile.
Openly hostile.
I think this would have to be a very passive-aggressive kind of party situation going on here.
So are we in junior high? Let's start let's set the milieu. Are we like in middle school or high school?
No, I'm me right now.
You're me, right? Okay, I got you. You are who you are, and you're in this group, and you kind of do you pregame the Dungeons and Dragons game? Do you like go to a bar with the party and you like kind of knock a few back and be like, what the hell does Darren have up his sleeves next, guys?
You're throwing Darren under the bus here.
I just said a name. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Well, if Darren listens to it, he's right in under there.
Yeah, sure.
So you're saying, like, do we get together to complain about the very idea of playing before playing?
I think that's a live option in this universe that we've hypothesized.
in this parallel universe we've crafted. I don't think so. I think everyone just shows up, and we just really think that, like, we know he's putting his all into it, right? Mm-hmm. But we also know there was no way we weren't going through several mines and like having to go through multiple layers of trap-filled dungeon, right? Mm-hmm. Like this is some old crunchy D&D.
Yeah. I think that this is one of those situations where we saw it coming and we put all of our effort into trying to short circuit, one of these plot cul-de-sacs. Mm-hmm. And nothing. It was not going to happen.
Yeah, every encounter deals with the player being in the wrong. So I'm rolling on my skills, right? I'm rolling diplomacy. I'm rolling athletics. I'm doing everything. I'm making perception checks 100% of the time to try to play my way out of this. But no, it's always swords. It's always magic. I'm being punished for being a sorcerer.
Constantly, yeah.
There's definitely an antagonism around me choosing to be a sorcerer here.
So what is it that keeps you and your group of players coming back over and over again to this campaign, to Darren, as I made up this name?
We're just so far in.
It's the sunk cost fallacy?
It is 100% like social sunk cost fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think that's it.
Well, what a beautiful little mental image that we painted in our theater of the mind.
Mm-hmm. If you're a good artist, you should draw that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you draw that. I want you to represent an abstract set of emotions. You can send that to me on Twitter. I don't think that you can put links in a YouTube comment.
Fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that it's one of those things where, I don't know, I kind of pictured, like, there's probably this kind of weird social drama thing going on where, the only reason we continue to do this is, like, outside social obligations. Like, maybe the Dungeon Master
is your boss.
Is your boss. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Or, like, a professor or something. And you really need that recommendation letter, and your colleagues do too. And you just, like, that's why I was thinking you go to a bar earlier to do a few shots before you show up, because you just need to grind this thing out. There has to be an end. He's got, like, this perfect, denouement planned, and you just need to get there. And you've done your best to just try to move through it as efficiently as possible, but it's just grinding away at your soul.
Mm-hmm. This is a sad story we've constructed. This is like a fun game.
It is. But I think when you add the element of, oh, well, hold on. Imagine that this isn't a video game. Imagine this is a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. It takes on another dimension, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I'm much less forgiving of, like, sloggy video gaminess in my D&D.
Oh my god, I remember our 4th edition campaign where there were planar wisps like attacking you and 2 party members while you were in a canoe in an underground river. Mm-hmm. And the idea was that somebody had to row in order for the thing not to fall off this waterfall, the underground waterfall, and then other people had to fight the wisps. And Kunzelman threw the oars into the underground river and, like, in-game, straightened his hat and crossed his arms, and he said, let's see what a waterfall does.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine I probably did that.
Yeah.
I believe
you have
that I
no
did
memory
that.
of that?
I don't. I remember that scenario. I don't remember being quite as much of a spoil sport about it, but I'm sure I was. That sounds right.
I mean, because it was like a little bit of a video gamey like situation that I'd come up with. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, what happened? Did we fall over the waterfall?
Yeah, you stuffed Lonnie into a bag of holding.
Oh yeah.
And you took some fall damage, and then you kind of had to, like, make your way through a underground kind of underdarky cavern that I had to come up with on the spot. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
What a good game.
What a good game.
Well, tune into our other podcast, D&D Hour, D&D Reminisce Hour.
Yeah.
When we just reminisce about D&D.
Just unconnected anecdotes, more or less like that.
100%. Just like
also brought to you by Harry and the Hendersons.
Brought to you by Dan Harmon.
There you go.
Not anything he does, just him. Mm-hmm. Dan Harmon's paying us to talk about D&D Reminisce Hour.
There you go.
Pretty weird.
Yeah.
So what happened last time?
Oh boy. Well, it was one of those episodes where it took up a bit of time, but really we just kind of got to Baldur's Gate. We were like, okay, we're going to get to Baldur's Gate this episode. And we did. We got to Baldur's Gate. We did a little Thieves Guild quest. And then we said, hey, next episode, which we were referring to this episode when we said that, next episode, let's do the Seven Sons Coster.
I still don't know what that is. Like, I still do not know what the word Coster means.
Have you looked it up?
I don't want to know. Mm-hmm. I'm remaining ignorant.
Mm-hmm. We're doing that on a lot of things in this podcast.
You gotta take a stand. If you don't stand for something,
you'll fall for anything.
There you go. I couldn't remember the other part.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have to even say that. I could have let it be organic.
Sure.
But yeah, so last episode, I said that I was going to figure out what's up with Ragefast holding the nymph captive.
Yeah, that was a little plug you put there at the end.
It was, and I'm going to update you on that after you tell us about this other thing.
Yeah, so I wanted to stick with the plan. And the plan was do the Seven Sons Trading Coster. So I wanted to advance the plot. I wanted to give our Lissa viewers some real meat. So, like, as you're walking through Baldur's Gate, people will walk up to you. Their little circles will light up white, and they'll start running over to you, and they'll, like, give you a side quest prompt.
Mm-hmm, and
oftentimes...
there's a snake in my boot.
Exactly.
They all say that.
Yeah. And so I go through a few, like, the first thing I do is, like, I hit up some shops to make sure I don't want to, like, buy anything. Mm-hmm. And as I'm doing that, especially in, like, inns and such, I'm just like, people are coming up, and oftentimes I'm just like, yeah, sure, I'll get to that. So yes, that's fine. And there's one, like, little one where I talked to this guy named Lathander in an inn, and I talked to him after I talked to a woman with 3 different types of trees in her name. Her name was, like, Maple Willow Oak. And then she, like, rants and raves about her parents naming her that and then disappears. I don't know if she despawned and it was a bug. I don't know if it was intended that she disappear, but that she just did. And then I talked to the person standing next to her, and it's this guy named Lathander, and he's like, hey, you're poisoned. This guy named Merrick poisoned you. You gotta like talk to, you gotta get the antidote from him. You better do what I say. Like, the only way we're gonna get the antidote is if you do what I say, and I need you to do this thing. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll get to that. Mm-hmm. And I think, I'll just be able to like finish this at my leisure sometime at the end of the chapter, maybe next chapter. Maybe I'll just finish it before I finish the game. And we'll get to this, but I was wrong.
That's the end of that story for right now?
For right now, yeah.
Just like an M dash here?
A dot, an ellipsis, as it were.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, well, so yeah, put a little bracket on that.
Yeah.
So Rage Fast. I didn't really do that many. I did like 2 side quests for this episode. Because they're both fairly long, I guess. This one actually took quite a while, so... at the end of the last episode, I said, I'm going to find this Rage Fast guy. I'm going to find out what's up with him capturing this nymph. And so I literally run all over Baldur's Gate looking for this dude. Like, I went everywhere. And I eventually found this other wizard named Razamith, who told me that he doesn't like Rage Fast. And he knows that Rage Fast has a nymph. And he wants Rage Fast's nymph. So he'd give me a bunch of money if I go get the nymph and bring her to him. And I was like, sure, I will do that. But I had no intention of doing that.
You were just keeping your options open here.
That just sounds evil, like capital E, true evil.
Sure.
So I literally, and I'm not even kidding, I had to go to every like node of Baldur's Gate to find Rage Fast. I eventually find him. Right above the Hall of Wonders or whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. I go there. I go into his house. He's standing there with the nymph, and he's like telling her, he's like, "You'll love me one day." Oh wait, I need to do my wizard. "You'll love me one day." She's like, "No, I won't. I'm a nymph. I don't want to love you. All of the beauty you see in me is because I was in nature. If I'm not in nature, I will die." And he says, No, you will love me, I promise. And so my team rolls up, and he was like, "Hey, get out of here. Like, leave her alone. I'm going to kill you." Mm-hmm. And we did. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really strange to me how easily I'm now able to kill wizards. Like, my spells are slightly better, but I'm not using anti-wizardry stuff.
So, what level is your party?
I want to say level 5.
Okay.
Probably level 5. 4 or 5.
Yeah, I found out halfway through this episode, or the recording necessary for the episode. So I'm level 8, and I am at the experience cap.
Really?
All experience I am getting is doing nothing. So, like, I remember when I started this, I knew of the existence of the experience cap, but I didn't imagine it was so low as 8. And I almost considered, like, as I started, I can, like, get a mod to, like, unlock the cap so I can keep getting levels. But I decided against it. Like, I don't think it's in the spirit of the podcast to start willy-nilly hacking the game. So, yeah, Balthazar is level 8. That's the situation.
And it also probably will mess up when we try to import into Baldur's Gate 2.
Exactly. Yeah, and I don't wanna ruin any of that.
Okay, so we do that. The nymph is like, "Hey, what are you gonna do with me?" And I was like, "Get the heck out of here. Go be free." She gave me a cloak made of her hair, which is creepy, I think.
Sure. Well, hair's one of those things where it's perfectly fine attached to a head, but the moment it's not attached to a head, it's disgusting.
It's just, yeah, it reminds you of mortality. It can get in your mouth. That's the worst part about hair not attached to a head. I mean,
it's way easier to get into a mouth.
It's so much easier to get right in your mouth.
And it's harder to get out of a mouth.
I could just imagine wearing a cloak. Ugh. Anyway, so I rolled over to this other dude, Razamith or whatever, and I was like, "Hey, I didn't do anything that you wanted me to do. Whoops-a-daisy." And so he like tried to kill me, and he did. He killed me the first time. But then I reloaded the game and just went into his house and didn't even talk to him. Just preemptively killed him. And one-shotted him, basically.
And when you do that, do you take a reputation hit?
You do not.
Damn.
He had murder in his heart.
There you go. And the authorities of Baldur's Gate knew that.
That, you know what, if you don't know, like, the
pre-crime Flaming Fist unit was aware.
Look, it's decreased murders in the Baldur's Gate area by over 70%.
Yeah.
You can't argue with numbers.
You can't.
So he's got like a weird little house that, like, in the overworld map or whatever, right? Like the outside map is like small. It's like 1 story, 2 stories maybe. On the inside, it's like 7 stories.
Ooh, non-Euclidean house.
I guess. And each level has like a different monster in it.
Damn.
So like level 1, yeah, it's a pretty cool little like dungeoning experience. So like level 1 was some slimes. And this took forever for me to like do each one of these levels and then like heal up, because you can't heal anywhere, so you got to go to an inn, right?
Damn.
So I do slimes and then ghouls, I think, and there's like 6 ghouls, and then kobolds with like fire arrows +2, and then hobgoblins. I might not have the order right, but hobgoblins, and then I think that's it. And then at the very top, there are a bunch of spells, and then a book that will increase my intelligence by 1.
Whoa.
Yeah, a little skill manual. I didn't even know it was there.
Ticklevar does not need that.
No. I don't know who does. I'm going to give it to Minsk, I think.
What about Donna here?
Maybe. Maybe it's useful. Can she get 1895 intelligence?
I don't know I don't think intelligence works with the slash.
I don't think so either. But anyway, that's the thing I did. Hopefully that nymph will be my buddy later.
Yeah. I only really did the one side quest that I'm about to get to. It's the other half of that ... It's the other half of the brackets.
Okay.
But in a little inn that I stayed in, I saw a woman, an older woman named Sanadal Gwist, and she was crying. And I talked to her, and it looks like I'm about to get a quest because her brother and cousin named Shank and Carbos are missing. But as I'm about to like accept the quest, I look through my dialogue options, and I see, and one of the dialogue options is, "Oh, those 2 guys tried to kill me in Candlekeep.
Yeah,
they're dead."
Oh, I knew I recognized those names.
Yeah. So I tell her, "Yeah, those 2 guys tried to kill me, and I murdered them both." And then she stops crying, and she kind of wipes her eyes and says, "Oh, well, I guess they were pretty dumb anyway," and that's it.
Well, yeah. They tried to kill a strapping young Balthazar.
Yeah.
And were smote from head to tail.
Mess with the best. Die like the rest. That's the other half of that I just said. There you go.
How was that the end of the ... of that story?
No, we're not even. That was an interlude. We're not even to the other end of the ...
Well, should I tell about my other side quest experience?
Yeah, go ahead. And, you did 2, right?
I did 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I'm wandering around, trying to find Rage Fast is when I start this quest, and this little kid comes out and he says, "Hey, my caretaker or whatever, he needs to talk with you. We have some like real problems." And I said, "What kind of problems?" He says, "Look, I'm a child. Follow me." Okay. I didn't say that directly, but it was pretty clear he wasn't like prepared to give me the full mission details. So his name's like Veray Roaringhorn. And we go into his house, and he lays out this story where he and he's a little kid, he and his other little kid friend were hanging out in the water house, which is the Temple of Umberlee. If you remember,
which we met from, kind of met her representative last episode. I helped her. Kunzelman murdered her.
I did. Not my fault. We can go to the tape. Not my fault.
Sure.
But so they were hanging out in that temple, and the priestesses caught them, and this kid who's talking to me got away, and the other kid didn't, and they just straight up killed him.
think they drowned him.
It's like child murder of some sort. Mm-hmm. I think he just told me they caught him. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was explicit. So this dude, this caretaker, is the father of the kid who died. And he says, look, I need you to go get this body. And I say, well, why don't you go get the body? That doesn't sound like a job for me. It sounds like your problem. And he says, well, I'm a priest of Timora. Mm-hmm. Tell us about Timora.
Timora is the goddess of good fortune. She is one side of kind of a duo of intermediate deities. There's Timora, and then there's Bashaba, and Timora is the goddess of good luck, and Bashaba is the goddess of bad luck. Now, you may be wondering, why would anybody worship the goddess of bad luck? Well, the people worshiping Bashaba want to avoid bad luck and want to, like, afflict bad luck on their enemies. And Timora is I think Timora has kind of become, in several editions of Dungeons & Dragons, or at least in the Forgotten Realms guidebooks, like a pretty common deity that, like, adventurers, bards, halflings will choose.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
She's kind of like good time adventuring fortune.
Exactly. Like, a good 25% of the D&D player base. It's kind of like what Timor is about. And the other, 75% is Bane.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
That'll be in our lore episode. Mm-hmm. When we painstakingly lay out the entirety of the pantheons of the Forgotten Realms.
All the cosmology shall be revealed.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about Asmodan.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. But anyway, so he's a priest of Timora, and he says, well, look, the church leadership has told me that kid was just unlucky. And I can't go get him because Timora has spoken here.
Oh.
She did not give him good luck. So, get out of here, basically.
Ouch.
So we contract in, and we go get her. I say, I'm going to go get her. I'm, like, ready for a fight, right? I'm ready to go in here. Umberlee is an evil, aligned god. Mm-hmm. Rude as hell. And I'm ready to go fight her. Or fight the priestesses. And I go in there. And I say, hey, can I talk to your leader? And they said, I don't know about that. And I gave them 50 gold. And they said, okay.
Sure.
Priestess comes out, head priestess. And I say, can I just buy this body from you? And she says, yeah, it's 2,000 gold. And I'm like the richest human alive.
Yeah, at this point, you're so rich, you aren't even selling the gems in your never-ending gem bag.
No, I've never sold a single gem. I have 20,000 gold.
Yeah, I mean, the gems in your gem bag are probably dense enough at this point to have their own gravitational field.
Mm-hmm. And so I pay my 2,000 gold, get the body, take it right back. And this is maybe the best payoff for a quest I've experienced in this game so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I think it is. So I give the body back. This father raises this child from the dead and then just starts tearing into him.
Damn.
And he starts yelling at him. He's like, hey. He's like, you know how much energy it takes me to use this spell? If your mother weren't dead, she would die again out of embarrassment of you dying in the priest or in the temple of Umberlee. It's like that level of stuff.
Whoa. You know what quest that reminds me of?
No.
The Chicken Quest.
It's very similar. There's a lot of disappointed dad figures.
Yeah.
In this, there's a lot of about that kind of stuff here.
Some like real David Cage stuff going on.
It's all about all powerful dads. It's kind of what Elminster's all about.
Oh,
he's like kind of the ultimate dad.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've got some major overarching plot stuff that's resonating too here.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Mm-hmm. Can't really talk about that yet, I guess. That'll be next episode, right?
Yeah.
But you know what, listeners, if you don't know about the Baldur's dads, there's a reason this is called Mages. Mages and
Murderdads.
Murderdads. It's not just about dad murder. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's about a murder dad.
Sure.
But anyway, so those are the two big side quests I did.
Yeah, awesome. So, more or less, kind of after I do like a few rounds, and I just try to explore the city because I want to find this Seven Sons trading coster. And to give you an idea of like the layout of Baldur's Gate, it's really big. Like this city is quite large.
Yeah, it's 9 zones total.
Yeah. And it's kind of like in a grid, so it's 3-3-3, I think. And I'm wandering around, and I pass by a building, and I'm like clicking on all the little buildings, like they have signs sometimes. And this building says, "The Iron Throne."
What's the Iron Throne, Danny?
Well, I mean, we if you've been listening, dear viewer listeners,
I haven't.
The Iron Throne are the people behind this atrocious Rube Goldberg conspiracy to do something. I guess to cause war with to raise iron prices, combined with iron scarcity and multiple demi-human mercenary bands in order to make gross amounts of gold. Right? Like they're just this evil trading group. And I passed by a building named Iron Throne, and Balthazar looks down at his hand, and he's holding a sword, and then he looks up at the building, and he says, "Well, I'll just kill everyone in this building."
Hold on now. So here, you're on the way to the Seven Sons trading coster, right?
Yes.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
At the end of the last episode, we said we were going to go to the Seven Sons trading coster.
Yeah.
And you had that information in your brain, and you thought, "Nah, I'll just kill everyone at the Iron Throne."
Well, yeah, because ultimately the Seven Sons trading coster, we're just placating Scar's curiosity here. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, Scar is like, "Hey, weird stuff's happening, and my friend won't talk to me, and I think they're making some bad business decisions over at Seven Sons, over at the coster, you know? So it'd be really nice if you could just check that out for me." And I say, sure. But that's not our real quest, right? We've got these names floating around, like Raeltar and Savarok and the Iron Throne. These are the people who've been sending us on a wild goose chase. So I look at the building, I'm like, well, look, it's a quick stop in. I'll stop in here. I'll murder everybody, and then we'll move on. I can help Scar out.
Mm-hmm. So is this the point where you sent me a text message that said, "I've murdered everybody in the Iron Throne"?
Yeah, I think it was something along the lines of, "Hey, I just killed everyone in the Iron Throne. Is that going to mess us up?" And then you asked me something like, "Why did you do that?" And what did I say?
I think you just said, "I did it."
I think I said it's because they're bad guys, and I saw their building, which was totally true. But yeah, so I go into this building and I kill everybody, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be like a major plot point in like 2 or 3 beats. So I'll spare you the grisly details. And here's where we come all around, like all this dot stuff.
I'm going to be showing this on screen in little segments just for the comedy benefit here. Mm-hmm. You said, "Because the Iron Throne is bad, and I saw where they were."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of out of the way, so maybe in my mind I was thinking, "Oh, they didn't expect me to find you, huh?" But here you are, with a sign on your building and everything.
They're not hiding.
No, it's very strange. And so I do this fight at the top, which we'll talk about probably in an episode or two. And you can't. It's kind of like how Kunzelman was saying you couldn't rest in that mage's home with the multiple non-Euclidean floors, because it's like not zoned. Like it's not zoned commercially. You've got to like go to a commercial hospitality section. Like that's zoned residential.
Yeah,
you can't rest in residential, as ironic as that sounds. So I had to go to an inn and then rest, and then I go back and fight a few people, and then I rest. And I wake up from one rest and I drop fucking dead.
It just says you died?
Yeah.
Like Dark Souls style?
Yeah. I reload, and I rest, And then I notice a little message after I rest that I missed last time. Hey, you are actually poisoned. You really need to get that antidote.
Dang.
Yeah. So, I had to take a whole fucking break from killing the Iron Throne to go track down this goddamn antidote. And then I've got to go see the Umberly people too.
Oh.
Because Lathander is also poisoned, and he wants the antidote, and he needs this scroll from the priestess of Umberly, so I have to go get that, and I buy it for like 2,000 gold. Umberly's probably not that bad. She's just a businesswoman, you know?
Mm-hmm. Seems to be hoarding people's children and anti-curse scrolls, but
sure,
it is what it is.
You gotta make a living.
You gotta make a living.
So I get the scroll, I go back to Lathander, I say, hey, here's the scroll, give me the thing. I need the antidote. And he's like, oh, I've only got half the antidote. You need to get the other half from Merrick, and Merrick's at the Blushing Mermaid or some other inn like that.
Oh, good lord.
And then I have to go to Merrick, and then I have to confront him, and then it's just messy, and I tell him, look, I need this thing, and he says something, and at this point I am so frustrated, not just in the game, role-playing, but me, Danny. And I don't even know what the fuck he said. I cannot remember.
Just kill him.
And I murder the hell out of him. And then I cure myself, and I have like a little potion now that like will cure anything, apparently. It's got 2 more charges left, so... At least it wasn't a total loss. And then I go back to the Iron Throne and I kill everybody in that building.
Was there a boss?
There is a boss, arguably, and I think from my previous playthroughs, probably the hardest or second hardest fight in the game is in that building.
Okay. Well, don't talk about it yet. That's next episode.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah, so I think we're almost to the Custer of the Seven Suns, but is it that time?
I think it is.
Oh, man.
Do you know what time it is?
What time?
It's time for the Elminster Minute. I'm reading this book still.
Mm-hmm.
And Elminster, in the past thing, I talked about his heroic journey up into being a new kind of person. Or whatever. No, he's not really doing that. Elminster became a thief as a young child, trying to get at the mage lords that he hates. Hates a mage lord.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really, when it's called The Making of a Mage, I'm very confused about when he becomes a mage. But he's trying to get him. And one night, he was standing in front of a bunch of... he was trying to rob somebody, and a mage came in, and he, put this big lightning whip thing, summoned lightning whip thing, probably has a cool name in Forgotten Realms lore, and he put it around all their necks, and he cut all their heads off.
All of whose heads off?
Well, that's the end of the Elminster Minute. Thanks everybody for listening to Elminster Minute this episode. Next time we're going to learn about what Elminster did the next part of his life.
It's really a play-by-play here.
I haven't been reading the book very quickly.
Well, I mean, all you got to do is read 5 pages a week, or pages.
I just summarized 40 pages. The pacing of this book is very strange.
Okay, because in the first 5 pages, his whole village gets raided by mage lords, and he swears vengeance.
I forgot in the last episode, they were riding a dragon.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah,
Fun.
That's all I got. I've really given you 2 minutes. It was really Elminster Minute and Clarifying Minute. But not about the current minute. That's important.
Yeah, no, it's all new information, so you cannot answer my last question.
No,
we
I'll answer it
We're
next
gonna have
week.
to. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out next week. Well, fun. So, okay, so did you go to this place and did you find out what a coster is?
I never found out what a coster was. Mm-hmm. People said the word 100 times.
Huh.
Yeah. I did go to the place. I went right in, and they were saying, ooh, la, 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 la. No one said that.
Okay.
I was stalling for time there. So I go in there. I was talking to this merchant, and he was like, "Hey, get out of here." And I said, "Hey, I'm looking for this Yasso guy, Jhasso, Scar's buddy." And he says, "Oh my God, I think everybody here is some sort of creature. I see people changing faces. I'm getting the hell out of here. Yasso is gone." So this guy kind of breaks ranks with everybody else very quickly. He's a terrible member of the Coster.
Yeah.
The Costner, the Kevin Costner.
He might be a great member of a Coster. We cannot make that determination while we do not know what a Coster is. It may well be, by definition, a Coster is a loose affiliate of cowards, in which case he is a paragon.
So I run around in here for like a few minutes. I go upstairs. There's no one upstairs that I can talk to that has unique dialogue. And
everyone looks the same, don't they? They're all that same model.
Yeah, it's kind of like a portly guy. Yeah, he's just that guy.
The merchant model.
Yeah. And, but yeah, there's a door. I go through the door, and this is like a murder dungeon.
It's a really abrupt transition, too.
Yeah.
It's like a very opulent, trading guild. And it's not even like you go downstairs and then through a door. Now you just it's like connected to the main hallway.
Yeah, it's like where a kitchen might be.
Sure.
And it's a murder dungeon. There's a doppelganger in there.
Right next to you when you go in.
Danny, what's doppelganger?
A doppelganger is a creature that can assume the form of other humanoids.
There we go. So there's
a
a doppelganger in there, and Yasso is also in there. So I killed the doppelganger. Choo.
I have to imagine that with a party of... You've got a full party of 6, right? Mm-hmm. So with a party of 6, when you, moved in, loaded into that room, you were probably already pre-surrounded the doppelganger.
Yeah, he just died immediately, or it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It died immediately. Mm-hmm. Didn't really get a lot of info from it. But I talked to Yasso, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, all these doppelgangers rolled up in here and took my face, and they're impersonating everybody, and they're messing up my whole business." And then he just wanders off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I assume
And where does that leave you?
Leaves me in Baldur's Gate. Where are you?
I'm in Baldur's Gate. But
okay, good.
What do you do after that?
I went and talked to Scar. I told him about it. And then, very annoyingly, he told me that I needed to go back and clear it out, and he would give me double the amount of gold. So I went to do that.
Oh, I immediately decided I needed to kill all these doppelgangers.
I did not. I didn't want to have to go upstairs and do all that other stuff. So I just went back to Scar and then had to go back again.
Oh, bummer.
And here's what's really weird. The game clearly didn't know that I had permission to kill all those people from Scar. And so when I went outside, a Flaming Fist member was there, and she was like, "Hey, you should think about your actions."
I remember, so somebody told me that after I left the Iron Throne, somebody came up and was like, "You need to stop, causing all this ruckus. You need to talk to Scar and, the Duke Ellington." Elton, right?
Elton, not Duke Ellington.
Okay, Duke Elton John. Mm-hmm. And you need to, advance the plot and stop fucking around out here.
Yeah, basically that's what she told me, yeah.
Yeah, but she did not know that you had already talked to Scar.
Yeah, it was really weird. It was a weird little moment.
It's kind of the same little weirdness as when... didn't Kevon leave your party in a huff?
Yeah. 2 seconds before we were finishing his mission. I got him back, though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was one of those weirdnesses. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I go back to Scar.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to him. And he said, "I have another mission for you." He said, "People have been killed all night long. Every night." This is another thing that happens again in Baldur's Gate 2. Whoever, the writing team of Baldur's Gate loves people in cities being murdered at night. Figure out why.
Yeah, real Jack the Ripper mystery here.
Mm-hmm. So I tell him that, or he tells me that, and he says, people are being murdered, we don't know why, and it seems like there's a large creature with many feet. And immediately my D&D fantasy trope brain kicks in. I know this has got to be like a carrion crawler or giant centipede or like any of the other shit I never want to see ever.
Sure, in real life or in a game.
Both.
Especially real life.
Very boring to me. And also, I think sewers should be banned from all games forever.
You are. This opinion, audience, is so strong. I have heard it multiple times over the course of my life.
Yeah, this is like a decade-long opinion.
Yeah,
I think they should be removed. I think if you put a sewer level into your game, you should think long and hard about why you've done that. Mm-hmm. And maybe
you know,
you should donate money to someone in penance, maybe.
Yeah.
If you do that. But so he told me that, and I was like, I think that's a sewer mission, not doing it. And so I skipped it.
Well, darn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just didn't do it.
He said, talk to me again if you want me to assign it to someone else, and I immediately clicked on him again.
Oh, so you just, the moment you talk to him again, he takes that as you not being interested.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's what happened to me because he assigned me that quest. And I mean, it's okay that I didn't do it. I'm at max level. I can't get more. I have no use for money, and I don't need more experience. So it's really like, unless this carrion crawler dropped a better two-handed sword, which I doubt it would. I'm not really interested. And then I think I just wanted more details about it, and I talked to him, forgetting that would initiate the end of the quest. So,
well, it's really weird. Like, that's the only interaction like this in the game so far as I know, and as far as I can think of what I've done so far, right? Where talking to an NPC again, but not choosing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where you could just gate yourself off by adding one to, like, the talk variable or whatever. It's very strange. Very weird little piece of scripting and design there.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things where, and I think what had happened is I had saved the game, I'd like done something, maybe the next day I come back and load, and I talked to him just because, I think Scar was like my quest hub guy right now, and I just like canceled a quest by doing so, which is a little weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah. So I feel like I've finally got the platform to really extract this from you.
Okay.
Do you think that sewers are bad because of like it's like a pre-made scenario / set of enemies / environmental sound effects, etc., 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 and it's just lazy? Is it the laziness that angers you, or do you have like a deeper distaste for the idea of being in a sewer?
It is the former.
Okay.
Like, it's an aesthetic problem, not a deep-seated fear of the sewer.
I mean, I feel like that would be reasonable if you
would, but that's not it.
It might be that somebody out there has your same opinion, and their opinion is, look, as a game designer, you should never shove your players into a shithole. Mm-hmm. Like, on principle.
Well,
like, you should respect them more than that.
So here's my... I don't believe that, because Fallout 2 has a really great quest where you can drop a bomb into an outhouse, and you can go down into it. It's a big poop cavern, and you fight a bunch of monsters in the poop cavern. Mm-hmm. Totally pro that. That's very funny to me.
Okay.
So yeah,
proto sewer.
Before sewer, there's proto sewer. Totally down with that. Yeah, I just don't like it because there's only so much you can do in a sewer, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's going to be long corridors. It's going to be kind of windy. It's probably going to have, like, water that will have traps in it. Maybe, like, in this context, that might poison you. It's going to have disease monsters. It's just, like, everything that comes. It's going to have slimes, which are, like, difficult to kill if you don't have magical weapons of certain kinds. Right? Blunt weapons don't do anything to them. Or no, slashing weapons don't do anything to them. It's like all of this additional set of assumptions about sewers that comes with it. And it's just an aesthetic package that I find it always takes way too long, and it's never different.
And it's also usually like this is actually a little strange because the sewers are usually a introductory adventure. Like that's the second dungeon you go in usually, right?
It's true. It's really funny. I talked to a guy, like a random commoner wandering around Baldur's Gate, who said, who I even wrote it down. He said, "You should go check out the sewers."
I ran into that guy too.
And I was like, "Why would I go into the sewers?" And he says, "It's the urban man's dungeon."
Yeah, it's the urban man's dungeon. They're really trying to. The fact that they're trying to sell you on it.
And I thought that was okay. And yeah, the only way to make it better is to, and this is what literally every game with a sewer does, is to say, actually, the sewers connect up with other more interesting places.
Which just makes it the environmental middleman.
Yeah, and so why was a sewer necessary for that exactly? Like, why didn't you just give me a bunch of interesting places that I could like go to off the street?
What about if the sewer is not a dungeon and is merely an extension of the city? So you don't have hostile creatures down there. You got some underbelly type stuff, and it's not windy and like confusing. It's just kind of sewer like and like relatively in a grid, and then you access the more interesting places from there. Would you be against that?
No, I think that'd be okay. Kind of like the way it's used in Skyrim, like the
in
Guild
in the Thieves Guild, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I'm not against the sewer as an environment. I think I'm against it as an adventuring space.
I see.
Because it's just foreclosed, right? There's only so much you can do.
Well, join us next week for our new podcast, Sewer Talk, where we beat this like a dead carrion crawler.
Yeah.
And that's
it. That's the end of the episode. I think that is the end of the episode.
Is that really the end of the episode?
I think so.
What's next?
I gotta fight the Iron Throne.
Well, I think what you do is you talk to Scar after, like you talk to some people in the Flaming Fist. I think you got to talk to Elton John.
We gotta do some recon.
Yeah, you got to just go in there and talk, and you're gonna get some real infos, and they'll point you in the right direction.
Is there gonna be crosstalk?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what's gonna happen is you'll go back. And granted, I did short circuit this quest, so I'm speculating a little bit. I'm pretty sure that you can talk to enough people in the Flaming Fist where they'll be like, "Look, you need to check out the Iron Throne. Like, you need to figure out what's going on over there." And it probably leads you over there.
Well, we'll see.
But yeah, we'll probably do that, and I might do some more side questing in Baldur's Gate and see what I'm missing out on. Maybe I'll go like recruit a NPC now that I'm max level, because it should like auto level them to max level too.
To get like a protege.
Sure.
Like a little best friend. You should get. Here's my suggestion. Oh, here's even better.
Okay.
This is not possible. I was going to say, never mind. Here's my suggestion. Outside the Flaming Fist, there's an NPC that is recruitable named T-Ax.
Okay.
T-Ax is a gnome who believes, I think, it's been a long time, I think he believes he controls all of space and time.
That sounds great.
He's like a little illusionist, I think.
What a perfect mix. Illusionist, barbarian.
He's pretty cool.
Ho.
He's a pretty cool guy. And I think he becomes a villain in Baldur's Gate 2.
Oh, fun. So plot important, maybe. It'll be a fun little time. Is your roster doing okay? You think you're set for the rest of the game?
Yep,
here?
I'm good. Viconia occasionally just talks about how stupid surface dwellers are. Kevon keeps saying, "That was a good deed." When we're not doing anything at all. Like, my reputation has not changed in literal weeks of in-game time. And we'll be walking through the streets, and he's like, "That was a good deed."
I think everyone in your party is probably at this point rattled by post-traumatic stress, like from one thing or another. So it's not like Balthazar, who revels in it and is going to be okay, like he's in that 2% or what have you.
No, they want to retire.
Yeah, they're done. And Kevon is just like trying to lay it on thick. We have established our legacy. Please, let's stop. Let's go to Cloakwood and retire.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do next episode. Thanks for listening to this episode, and thanks for listening to previous episodes. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's a real blast, and we look forward to next episode.
Leave some comments. Like I said at the top of the episode, like I try to say every time, if you hit the subscribe button, that's really great. If you share this on your Facebook or your Twitter, that is very helpful for us. And what's the one thing? What's the two?
You could also just like copy the address bar, like the URL, and you could email it to your buddy, and you know how that one time you talked to your buddy about Baldur's Gate, and maybe you haven't talked in a while, and this would be a cool way to like get back in touch with them, but without like a really long email, and you don't know what would happen. Like maybe you guys start your friendship anew. Who knows?
Yeah. Speculate on your friendships with this podcast. We're good at the hedging your bet kind of thing. Oh, also hit the like button. That's what I forgot before.
There you go.
Hit the like button. So what's our poll? What's our poll this week?
I think a good poll will be, am I going to be upset when I recruit somebody? Like by the end of next episode.
Will Danny be upset that he recruited somebody?
Well, I have regrets.
Will he have regrets about that? Say yay or nay in the comments. We'll tally those up. I think we're going to be recording 2 episodes before you hear this one. But that means we'll have an even bigger data sample. We'll include this poll at the end of next episode, too.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, everybody.
Yeah. So I'm Cameron.
And I'm Danny.
And this was Mages and Murderdads.
So saith the wise Alondo.